What's up, nerds? It's time for some nerdy news. Yay! Welcome back to Comics and Cosmetics Nerdy News. I'm your host, Danny Sansi, licensed cosmetologist and registered super nerd. And this week, we've got a few things we need to discuss, and we've got a new trailer to watch that I've watched it maybe 3 times already, but I want to watch it with you because you're my friends and I love you. I mean, I really can't stand by that because I don't know you very well, and that's a very complicated emotion for people you don't know. But hey, welcome back. Please make sure you've hit the like button thing. Make that sacrifice to our YouTube algorithm overlords. Make sure you're subscribed and ring that notification bell so you get notified whenever I'm back with more nerdy, delicious stuff. I really had nothing to follow through with that. I was just as surprised as you are to see where that sentence ended when I started. Hey, Ubaldo. Welcome back, Ubaldo. So happy to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, okay. So, we got a great show for you tonight. I have a really awesome guest that I really excited to have. We've talked a lot on the Twix for the last few months, and turns out we're both living in Missouri. We're both Missouri people. He has some unfortunate taste in baseball, but that's okay. We won't totally hold that against him, but let's just bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and nerds, I give you Mr. Sean Stackhouse.
What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Yes, I do have unfortunate baseball taste. I know.
Now, Lord Vader had to don his cards cap for our All Missouri podcast today.
Yep.
So Sean, tell us a little bit about yourself for those out there in YouTube, Twix and Twitch land who don't know.
Twix and Twitch. Wow. Well, yeah, I have a YouTube channel called Sean Stackhouse. It used to be Sean Stackhouse Reacts, and I used to do a lot of music video reactions, like when the pandemic first hit, because what else? There was no news. There was no pop culture.
Right.
You know, but I am very much into just pop culture. You know, I'm also a musician, so that's why I did do the music stuff. But like my love is like nerdy things, and
yes.
I try to give a blend of that plus a lot of nostalgia too. You know, I love the old toy commercials and things.
Oh yeah,
from back
you
in the day.
post some good ones like on Instagram and stuff. I send them to my sister-in-law, she has a Gen X channel, and she, God love her, she freely admits she's living in 1994 and she is not coming back.
That'd be awesome.
You post some really great Gen X stuff, and I send it to her, and she always, appreciates it. She's like, "Oh yeah, I remember this."
That's cool.
Like, oh, give me some of the sweetness.
I know. Oh my god, such a different world now. Such a different world. But you know what? I don't know if I would give up the internet. I don't know if I would.
Oh no, I don't think I could give up the internet, especially since, I'm forced to be a homebody now. Like, this is my social life.
Right.
This is how I interact with other humans. So, yay. But what are some of your favorite nerdy delights? What are your nerd things that you're into?
I am a huge DC Comics fan.
Yeah.
I like Marvel. Marvel has just always been harder to read for me. I don't know why. It's just how it's written. It just doesn't hit the same. DC. Also, I think DC has more interesting characters.
They're more complex to me.
Very complex, because I think that you could take Superman and a handful of other people, maybe 5 at most, and you could wipe out the majority of the Marvel universe. They're just like that OP, Yeah. And I'm talking like, I'm not talking like the Origins of Superman where he could just leap tall buildings. I'm talking about, right around Crisis, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Love things like Back to the Future, wearing my Back to the Future shirt.
Yes, I noticed that. It's very cool.
Love Michael J. Fox. Grew up watching him on Family Ties,
So weird that you say that, because I've had the Family Ties theme song stuck in my head for the last, 30 minutes. And before that, it was, what do you think?
Yep.
Like,
Billy Vera and the Beaters. Yes.
Stinking Family Ties just living rent free in my brain. And it wasn't even one of my favorites. That's one of Natalie's favorites. She's way into that stuff. I'm a little younger, like just a couple years younger than she is. I'm a Xennial or whatever, technically.
Xennial, yeah.
Yes.
Me too.
The oldest millennial and the youngest Gen Xer.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, and I was a massive nerd. It's like huge nerd. So for me, 80s shows are like Star Trek The Next Generation.
Yeah.
And Alien Nation. And I loved the Saturday morning shows, Small Wonder, Out of This World, My Secret Identity, like all of those. Jerry O'Connell was one of my very first crushes, and it was
Sliders.
From
Was it from Sliders?
No, from My Secret Identity.
Oh, okay. You're going that far back.
Sliders, like, oh, and he's still like, good Lord, you're just good genetics. You look fantastic.
Yeah, he does.
For you.
he looks really good.
His wife is pretty cool too. They seem like really cool people. Like, I hate that I'm becoming that person. Like, oh, look at that celebrity. I bet we'd be friends. I should send them a message. No one ever does that.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's like, could you come on to my podcast? Like the other day I had the idea, it was like, I'm an insomniac. Okay. So around 3 a.m, I was like, I wonder if I should write Mark Paul Gosselaar and be like, hey, I met you once in 1993. Would you like to come on my YouTube channel?
Did he respond?
No.
I actually, hello. Is it Sharon?
Sharon. Hi, Sharon.
Sharon. Okay. I want to make sure I pronounce names correctly, because I have one of those wild, jacked up names. And welcome, Sharon. Thank you so much. I hope you subscribe and actually watch things. But my last name is Sonsasie, Soncasie. Well, it was originally spelled Sanssouci, which has A's and U's and stuff involved in it. And I live in an area where there's a lot of the Sanssoucis around, but it's not exactly a name you want to be associated with if you're picking up what I'm throwing down. I have developed this habit after 43 years. When people ask my name, I'll say Danny Sonsasie, S-O-N. Like, I have to specifically say S-O-N, because they will immediately put down S-S-A-N. And it's gotten to the point that when I say Danny Sonsasie, when they repeat it back to me, they will say Sanssouci. And I'm like,
I would just call you Sansui and think that you were like the manufacturer of like previously Fine Electronics.
It really it got to me today. I was talking to a medical professional and they say Sanssouci back, and I said, no, it's Sonsasie, and I'll correct him every time. Like, I can understand somewhat looking at something written down and kind of glancing at it and just assuming and repeating it back. But once you've heard it pronounced, how do you do that? I once had a hospital administrator, appointment person sitting 6 inches from me after I've said my name 6 times and corrected her 6 times. She finally reads it back to me, puts it on medical documents, Darnell Sanchez.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, here's an interesting story. This was like 94, 95. Okay. I was like very much a teenager, And so I called Sayreville, New Jersey's operator line, and I was like, "Yes, could I have the number for John Bon Jovi?" And they're like, "Could you spell it?" And back then I didn't know that it was Bongiovii. I was like,
Yeah.
BON space JOVI. You know? I mean, I'm sure that was not the first call in Sayreville, New Jersey,
Right.
they got for John Bon Jovi.
I'm trying to find. I really need to speak with John Bon Jovi. It's important.
Yes,
It's super important. I was going to say something, and it flew right out of my brain. There it went again. I almost had it. I lost it. It's okay. I'm old. Those things happen to us now.
yes.
But we should probably just start the show.
That's good. I'm good with that.
Okay, so I have been putting up Sean's information. Please go ahead and give him a follow. Very easy to find. Just type in his name. He's not related to Suki. I've already asked. But if you just type his name in these platforms, you will find him and you should give him a follow. So thank you so much, guys, for that. And now we have a new trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes, we do.
And I remember that other thing I was going to say. I emailed Beau DeMayo.
Really?
I emailed him. I'm waiting to see if I hear back. Probably not, because I've told the world what he did. So
isn't he still kind of lights out on social media?
He's all over Twix. He's like all over it.
Okay.
He is responding to people that are watching X-Men 97 and stuff and talking about it. So I emailed him. I'm like, hey, would you like to put your side of the story out there? I'm a big believer in that. The opportunity is there. The invite is there. If you'd like to join me, just, hit me up, let me know. So like, if you're legally allowed, if you're legally
allowed to talk because he's probably under like a very big NDA at the moment. I would assume.
I believe it. The mouse does not F around. They do not. They're like their own little government military. They're a mafia. They're a family. You don't go against the family.
They are basically a modern interpretation of what the Galactic Empire was in Star Wars.
He said it. He said the quiet thing out loud. Everything we were thinking, he said it.
Bob Iger is Palpatine. I mean, come on. How is he not Palpatine?
Oh, he totally is. And he's a dumb one too, because like, dude,
yes, he is.
Do you genuinely think we can't tell that we heard you say that thing and now you're saying you didn't say that thing? Like,
yes.
Gaslight us the entire time and then saying, I don't think people really know what the word woke means. We do. We don't think you know what it means.
I don't. I know a lot of African Americans that would love to explain it to him, because a lot of people don't even understand the term as it's being used these days. But I know a lot of people that they're like, "Oh, that's not your term, that's our term." But and Bob Iger has no idea.
No, he really does. He doesn't have any idea of virtually anything that's going on right now. Mm-hmm. And like Bob Chapek had done what he did and the company was really suffering. And so Bob Iger's like, well, now I got to come out of retirement and fix all this stuff. I'm like, are you?
But do you think that Chapek really had like any control?
I honestly don't think any of those people that we actually see or hear about are in control. I think that I don't know what I think anymore, honest. And I'm afraid if I say anything, I'm going to sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist. But there's just so much going on. Like, is this like a CIA op? Is Disney a CIA op? Or because we know that intelligence agencies are basically in charge and control of politicians.
Yeah.
I mean, what are CEOs these days anymore, if not politicians? So
wouldn't it be awesome if 20 years from now we found out that modern Disney was just a huge psyop? Oh my God.
I don't know if it'd be awesome, but it would be like, that explains a lot.
I know. It's like, okay, so this is why everything changed. Like why Disney used to be awesome back in the 90s. And like now it's like who is this company pretending to be Disney? I don't know.
Oh, but they're like, we're a children's company.
No,
Oh,
they're
yeah?
not.
Prove it. Like,
They're hardly a studio anymore. I mean, as much money as they've lost in the box office. I mean, I don't know how they can keep cranking this stuff out.
Oh, they did Wish in 3 months. They made an animated movie in 3 months, and you can tell.
Yeah.
But somebody looked at that and said, "Yeah, throw it out there." Like,
yeah, somebody approved that. They're like, "Yeah, go ahead." It's good.
And have you heard their new, like, oh, the Disney app is going to have different channels now? I'm like, so they're like so proud of it. Like, so basically, someone in your company invented television, and you're acting like it's, oh my God, give him a medal. This is it. This is it, folks. This is so inventive. This is gonna change everything. Like, no, this is just I'm gonna be back to changing channels for my mom is what's gonna happen.
Right. And I would so when streaming started, I was all for it, but
oh, absolutely,
there is just so much now to have to choose from. It's just ridiculous.
You're basically paying
yeah
what you were paying for cable and having the same issues. It's so stupid. It's all so stupid. But hey, it's not stupid? This Deadpool and Wolverine trailer.
Yeah, okay.
Let's pull this up. I've got my thingy here from the actual mouse. Let's see.
I told you, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome anywhere. Now get the fuck out of my bar. Just give me a little more drink.
Wow, Disney allowed that. Ooh.
Oh, did I do something? Okay, sorry about that. I'm pressing buttons. I'm old. We just needed to hear the F-bomb again. That's all.
That's right.
I told you, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome anywhere. Now get the fuck out of my bar.
Just give me one more drink and then I'll leave.
I'm pretending like I just heard that the first time.
Hi, Peanut. I'm gonna need you to come with me right now. Look, lady, I'm not interested.
Hi, Nadia.
Nadia, what's up?
Oh. It's like
So I've heard. Smile. Wait for it.
I suggest you reconsider.
Yeah, don't offer that to Logan. He doesn't care.
Yeah, no. Ting.
He looks so good.
He does. He's been doing this now for 25 years.
I know.
And those look like the tombstones in the comics of all the dead X-Men.
Yeah.
Like,
Ooh.
oh, yowie.
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for
Your faces. God, Wade. Cover that up.
Yeah.
I really thought that was going to be the response. It's your face.
Yeah, I hear that. Wow, Madonna.
Sleeveless Wolverine.
I was wondering if that was going to happen.
Yeah, and then of course we have Lee Field's Just Feet orthopedic shop, because Rob Liefeld, the creator of Deadpool, there's this huge joke, inside joke, whatever, that he can't do feet, so he always hides them. Or but
nice.
Look at this action. And then Cassandra Nova, this man, Like a Prayer by Madonna, it just fits perfect.
It does.
I'm really excited to see. Look at this. Okay, so let's go back a little. This I'm going to do on purpose this time.
Okay.
So right there, we have, she's standing. I'm not very good at this, am I? We have Cassandra Nova standing in the skull of Scott Lang, Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. First of all, he's got great teeth because they've held up.
Yes,
but they look like they've just turned to stone at this point. But the size, like, what killed Giant Man in the Void?
That's a great question.
Like, what could have possibly killed Ant-Man or Giant Man in the Void? I can't find this stupid Again, we'll just press play. Here we go. Was it Elias? Was it Kang himself? What was he doing there?
That looks so good, though.
It does. It's an amazing scene, and they're basically living in Scott Lang's corpse.
That's
in
creepy.
the void. It is super creepy, but super dope at the same time.
Yeah, it is.
This doesn't help me skip things very well.
I know. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So I wonder which variant Logan this is.
I want to know too. I have heard from my sources that we are getting that Daniel Radcliffe is playing Patch.
Oh, okay.
I've heard that. I've also heard that Taron Egerton. I always wonder if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Taron Egerton, whatever. Taron, the British guy from Kingsman.
Mm-hmm.
Eggy. He's playing a version of Wolvie as well. So, but we're also hearing that we're finally getting Channing Tatum's Gambit.
I've heard that, yeah.
And that it's not just a cameo. It's a significant role.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Him and Daphne Keane, but we knew Daphne Keane's X-23 was going to have kind of a significant role.
You kind of would have to.
Yeah, and she's great. I love her. I love her as X-23. I mean, that's how we all basically got introduced to her. So,
yeah.
This is just
so silly.
I'm excited to see some Cassandra Nova. That was Elias. I'm thinking Elias killed him. Just dog pool. The look on Hugh Jackman's face. Did you see that?
Which part? For the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like,
look at that.
Sequence. Who knows if you live or die?
So
I love it.
That looks like some Mad Max stuff.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, let's
fucking go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, where do you think they're jumping?
I am going to go out on a limb and say that they're not jumping into the MCU proper.
Yeah.
I don't see how these versions of these two characters could play inside the MCU. I don't.
Well, and everything that they're coming up with in the next couple of years is all outside of MCU proper.
Mm-hmm.
This and Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four is in 1963 and in a totally different universe. Blade, I think.
I can't believe they're actually going through with that. I mean, that script had so many issues.
It did. And Mahershala Ali said multiple times that, if you don't get this script together, I'm out. I walk. I'm not.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. I mean, good for him for having standards when it comes to a character that he's fond of and knowledgeable about. So I respect the heck out of him for that. But all of these things that they're bringing out here in the next 2 years, they're all in a different universe. So
they're all adjacent to the MCU.
Yes. And it's all I think it's changing to the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse.
That's stupid. Mm-mm. I don't know about you, but I'm over Cinematic Multiverse.
I kind of am, because for the comic nerds, or for people who aren't really familiar with comic books,
it's confusing.
They're their arcs and stuff. But the only time you bring in a multiversal tale or story arc is when you're trying to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
You've gotten real messy and convoluted with all your different stories,
and
different universes. So you need to clean it up and make things a bit more streamlined and, easy to track.
And make no mistake, some of those storylines, like Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Oh, the Crisis.
It was amazing, but they had to clean the continuity up in DC. It was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And
Infinite Crisis, Crisis on Infinite Earths, Crisis on Multiple Earths.
yeah.
Infinite Crisis. Did I say that one already? Anytime you see Crisis in a title for DC, that's a multiverse event.
They've messed up their stuff, so they have to reboot.
They're doing it because everything got so convoluted, and they need to streamline it. It's not something that's meant to just keep on going. It's just a tool. It's a device to clean your mess up.
Unlike Marvel, though, because Marvel was always what was a Prime? Is that 616 in Marvel?
Yes, in the comics.
Yeah, in the comics. So they were always supposed to be the same age, like for like 40, 50 years. Nothing changed. And I guess that's what Marvel fans liked. They were okay with that. But then you came to an age of like, well, I'd love to see Peter Parker get older, or somebody take up the mantle of Spider-Man that's not Peter Parker. And so and
it really seems like DC has more of the legacy titles than Marvel does.
I agree.
But I've always said that, because I'm a non-denominational nerd. Okay. I love it all. Marvel and DC, that's like comparing apples and oranges. They're two totally different things. DC is about right and wrong. Stark differences between right and wrong. They're in the business of morality tales, of things you should aspire to, people you should aspire to be like. That's why Superman's always kind of one-dimensional for me, because he is one-dimensional. He's good for the sake of being good. He doesn't really have any darkness or failings, so to speak.
I could push back on that a little bit.
Well, New 52.
Oh, well, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that collar and the lack of the trunks. But I mean, Captain America, Steve Rogers, is as close to Superman in Marvel as you can get.
Hyperion.
Okay, Hyperion. You're right. But Steve Rogers, he's pretty darn close. And he can be written in a way to where he's just not like one-dimensional.
The point with Marvel that I was driving at is that, where DC is in the business of creating gods, beings you should aspire to be like, Marvel is in the business of relatability, ambiguity. What if Joe Schmo got bitten by a spider? What if Joe Schmo got the super soldier serum and got frozen in ice? You're supposed to be able to relate to them. Like, oh yeah, I could see myself doing that. They're not really lessons, not really teaching. They're not really teachable moments, is what I'm driving at. DC is all about, let's teach the children.
Yeah. And they have grander, epic tales. I mean, you could read Green Lantern and nothing else. Like the Green Lantern Corps is just deep in mythology.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. I tried to break down the Green Lantern Corps for one video, and I was like, I'm not doing that again. That was stupid. What was I thinking? There's so much. But anyway, so we don't believe that they are jumping into the actual MCU here.
Nah. We
believe I don't speak for you. I should be very clear on that.
Maybe they're jumping back to Fox. They're like, screw this.
That's what I was going to say. I think because what I've read over the last year and a half, 2 years about this movie is that it's how they had Deadpool kills the Marvel universe. It's Deadpool kills the Marvel Fox universe in this movie.
Interesting.
Like he goes through and just killing all the Fox people and basically doing the job of what a multiversal story is supposed to be.
So if that's true, this could be like the most entertaining live action multiversal movie we've had, because Doctor Strange was trash in my opinion.
Well,
the best thing about the Flash was Michael Keaton.
Oh, don't get me started on the Flash. But the multiverse of madness, we got like 2 multiverses.
Right.
That was it. And it was
Yeah.
a very Sam Raimi film. Someone's trying to break into the studio
Uh-oh.
and they're knocking things over. That's why I put the door up. Like I'm live. Stop.
Doors they're very functional, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's not like attached. I should be
Okay, so it's just kind of leaning there and you're like
up there.
everybody's on the honor system. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we have Wolvie and Poole jumping through a Doctor Strange ring, which clearly they have hidden something here. And I didn't think that they could do that legally anymore. Like you couldn't change the trailer anymore because it fell under false advertising and somebody sued. They sued over an Amazon movie that had Ana de Armas in the trailer, and then she wasn't in the movie. So the guy sued. I'm like, really?
I mean, look at all the Snyder trailers for DC that I mean, there were so many things in the trailer that weren't in the movies. So I don't know.
Way to go, Joss Whedon. Never gonna be ugh. Okay. It's like a little prayer. Oh, I love this.
Hey, cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is awesome. Marching band. We know all the slang terms. They have a list.
Even snowboarding?
Even disco dust.
White girl interrupted?
Even force bump.
You want to build a snowman?
Yes.
But I can't. I love it. White girl interrupted. Yeah, even Forrest Bump.
That was classic. I agree with that.
Forrest Bump. Okay, so Ubaldo says Deadpool will be a restart to the next phase. That's what I believe.
I don't know. I want to say I want to agree with you, but I don't know that they have any idea of how to get that next phase going or where they want to go with it. I think that this is going to be a one-off movie and it's going to do well at the box office and everything else is going to be like business as usual.
I don't know, man. We got a lot of TVA people, a lot of TV, like, why can't I think of it? Agent 15 or Hunter 15. Hunter 15 is in it. Loki is in it. I think that they're using this to start their soft reboot of the MCU. Secret Wars will be the actual final soft reboot of the MCU, but I think Baldo might be right. I think this might be kicking it off.
Well, if they do Secret Wars, I hope it's better than
Secret Invasion.
Yes. Oh my god.
I did justice for Maria Hill. Okay, I've been saying that for over a year now. That was dirty. They did our girl dirty.
Yeah,
she has been in the MCU since it's started, and they just killed her nonchalantly. We don't even get to see the funeral. We just get her mom upset. I thought, well, maybe it was a Skrull. It has to be. It's even my boyfriend who really doesn't care that much about this stuff, and like it was his idea I start this channel because he's like, you can't talk to me about this because first of all, I don't know the first shit thing about it, and second, please shut up. You can't handle it. So he doesn't really care about this stuff, but he watched the first episode of Secret Invasion with me, and at the end, spoiler warning, Maria Hill gets shot and killed, and we just kind of sat there, and he's like, there's no way they just did that. Like, she's got to be a Skrull or something. That doesn't feel right. And I agreed. Like, she's got to be a Skrull because there's no way someone who's been that integral to the MCU and Fury's right-hand man throughout the whole thing, and you just gunned her down like she was nothing. Like, bam, done, dead. Mm-hmm. No funeral, no send-off, no nothing. Like, poor Colby Smulders.
It didn't surprise me, though, because, I mean, going back to Captain Marvel, they had no concept of how to treat the Skrulls anyway. So, at least not in the MCU.
So what did you think of the Deadpool Wolverine trailer?
I like it. And I really don't want to like it because, and I say that as a fan, but I've been burned like so many times over the past 4 years by DC and Marvel. You know, like just movie theaters in general. Pick a studio. I've been burned by them. You know, over the past. Yeah, I think it all started with Ghostbusters 2016. You know.
Oh yeah, that just it wasn't Ghostbusters.
Nah,
really wasn't Ghostbusters.
I like some of the ideas that they had for the equipment and showing how the equipment was being built, but the comedy, it was just not right. Ghostbusters is not slapstick,
right? And I think Kristen Wiig and Kate McKinnon are hilarious.
Yeah, me too.
But it wasn't Ghostbusters. And Chris Hemsworth was just adorable with his saxophone and his glasses without lenses.
Yep.
But I feel like I'm just cutting off most of your head with this, so I'm gonna move that back. Just a little quick edits for keeping everyone interested. That's all I'm doing. I totally know what I'm doing. Not really, but we're gonna go with it.
Nobody knows for sure.
Nobody knows. But yeah, I'm very angry with Disney, not just for what they're doing to IPs and they can't seem to get an original idea, or any studio can come up with an original idea anymore, because what they've done to people that work for them, people that I know, people that are friends of mine, they've just really done them really, really wrong and ruined their lives for stupid reasons. You know, it's just,
yeah. What was I forget her name, but she was like pressing really hard on the special effects people. Victoria Alonso.
So she's just a nightmare.
Yeah, and you could tell that they were being overtaxed by the quality of the CGI in the movies.
Oh, they cut 11 scenes from Quantumania because 25 plus VFX houses walked because of Victoria.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they all quit because she was such a nightmare and so horrible to people and playing Kingmaker and, you know, a little too big for her britches. They left, and so they had to cut a lot of the action sequences, 11 action sequences from that film, and it's obvious. It's so bad that, you know, your big stars, Paul Rudd, Dave Bautista, they all went out. They don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, Dave Bautista's wanted out for almost 10 years, and Paul Rudd, like, just kill me off.
Right. And I honestly expect to see people like Batista showing up in Gunn's DCU if Superman happens to work.
It's going to happen. Like, Batista was already seen. He took pictures and put on his Instagram of him at the DC Studios office meeting with Gunn. So
here's a question. Why couldn't Dave Bautista have been Lex Luthor?
Too beefy.
Yeah, well, okay, but I mean, like, Superman in the animated series and Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, he was pretty. I mean, he wasn't like huge, but I mean, he was like stout, you know.
Yeah, a little bit. I think it has a lot to do with. I don't know how strong of an actor Batista is to be able to pull off a 12th level intellect megalomaniac, you know, genius.
Providing they're not going with the real estate version.
Right. God's not making more of it. That's what my father always said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to be more of like a Bane. I can see him being Bane.
You know, he could do Lobo too, I think. I know everybody.
That's Jason Momoa.
Well, I know everybody's saying it's going to be Momoa, and
it is.
It probably is.
It is. And that's what Momoa's wanted to play from the start. Like, when they first came to him about Aquaman, he's like,
"Yeah,
I am not blonde." And they're like, "No, we're going to do it this way." He's like, "Okay, I'd rather play Lobo." He originally, like, they've had a Lobo project in the works on and off for maybe 15, 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what Jason Momoa went in for, and they ended up giving him Aquaman. He's like, oh.
Mm.
And then he met with James Gunn, and James Gunn's like, you're not going to be Aquaman anymore. And Jason
Thank
Momoa's
God.
like, okay. And he goes, but I want you to be Lobo.
Mhm.
Like, that just makes sense. It makes
does.
way better sense.
I don't understand
does.
what possessed Snyder to look at Jason Momoa and be like, yeah, you're going to be our Arthur Curry. You're Aquaman. I understand people have an issue with Aquaman being boring, or at least preconceived notions of, from the Super Friends and things like that. But they've changed him a lot in the comics.
They have. They have. And I think it was all kind of pretentiousness. He felt like he knew better than the creators of these characters. Like, it would make more sense if Aquaman was Polynesian. Yeah, well, it might. So make your own freaking water superhero, sir.
Right.
So,
and then what was he thinking with casting Ezra as Barry Allen? I mean,
that human being needs to be behind bars. That was driving me nuts. That whole time, the government's like, well, we're trying to find him. He's wanted for kidnapping. We're trying to find him. And I'm like, he's in New Hampshire.
Right.
It's on Instagram. He just posted he's on a farm in New Hampshire. Go get him. Found him.
What really helped me disconnect from the DCEU was the scene where his Barry Allen's like, I don't have any friends,
Barry Allen was a friggin' social butterfly with all the rings in the world. Okay.
Just like Wally West.
Mm-hmm.
Wally, I'm getting old. I can't think of the names on, right away, but
okay,
Wally West, Barry Allen, Jay Garrick, even to an extent, but yeah, that was
I always
horrible,
thought that the Green Arrow was like if you had mashed the Flash and Batman together, like, like he had more the Flash's personality, and like Batman's everything else.
Yeah.
So when you get the Ezra Miller Barry Allen, like, he's just obnoxious and awkward and cringe.
The closest I think we have gotten is John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah. And most DC fans like the CW Arrowverse stuff.
Yeah.
I do not. I don't care for him.
You're banned for life.
Well,
you know what? I mean, there are some good elements from the Arrowverse, and then there are just some trash elements from I will not greenlight everything just because I love DC.
Well, I was mad straight from the get-go when with the Arrow show, because they tried to take a Green Arrow shaped peg and stuff it in a Batman shaped hole. They straight up ripped off Batman story arcs for the show, and it was like they were mad that Fox got the rights to Gotham to do a Batman show, and they didn't. So they're like, well, we'll just take all the Batman stories and make them Green Arrow. Okay.
Well, yeah, but they were trying to do this like all the way back for Smallville, because Smallville was
great. Smallville is the gold standard in my opinion.
Absolutely, but it was pitched as a young Bruce Wayne, and they're like, nah.
Yeah.
We don't want you to have any Bat mythos on TV. Batman is for the movies. Superman, you can have him. Because clearly we don't love him. But, Smallville is the GOAT of all superhero TV shows.
We are way off track.
Yes, we are.
That's fine. It happens with me all the time. X-Men 97 is killing it.
Yeah, I am shocked.
Is doing amazing, and I can't believe that they've pulled it off. Hey, Gary, what's up? I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you for asking. And I'm so sorry that you are not feeling well. And I'm sending you all my love. And I hope you get better. Get better, Gary. I need you better. But yeah, I'm completely shocked. I was very nervous when they said that they were bringing in X-Men 97. Oh, it's going to be like the one in the 90s, and it's going to have filters to make it look like it. I've actually heard people complain about the animation in X-Men 97. I'm like, listen, if you are going to complain about the animation X-Men 97, you're showing that you didn't watch the original animated X-Men animated series in the first place, because not only does it resemble it, it's better. It's better, but I don't care that it's different, because let's face it, okay, hand-drawn stuff, like in those shows, it could get a little wonky here and there.
Yeah.
But that's natural.
It's the human element,
right.
you know.
And you tend to forget it after a while, because the show is so good. It had such good stories. It was probably the first cartoon that didn't talk down to the kids and talk to them like they were stupid, you know? It had really deep, complex storytelling that kids just like, oh, my story's on.
Right.
Watch X-Men 97.
I mean, back in the 90s, so you had Batman the Animated Series, you had X-Men, you had the Tick, you know, I mean, it was, the 90s was an amazing time.
Yeah, it was a renaissance for comic book animated series.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so the fact that they have, and we're talking like 2024 Marvel, okay? The fact that 2024 Marvel has managed to make X-Men 97 as good as it is just blows me away.
Yeah. And sorry, excuse me. Allergies. It's Missouri and it's stormy. It's no secret that the suits interfere with the creatives all the time. And this has been the history of Hollywood, period, filmmaking, but it's gotten really bad in the last few years. But it really feels like somehow Beau DeMayo was able to like keep them at bay. I don't know how. He was fired and what he was fired for, but he was able to put together an amazing show. And he's not the only person involved. There's a huge team behind X-Men 97.
But he was a showrunner.
He was the showrunner, and he wrote every episode.
Yeah. So, I think maybe what helped Beau was that he was a special case because he checked a few of the boxes that Disney likes to check. And so they weren't sure exactly how to handle him. So, you know, and it just so happened that he knew exactly what he was doing.
If only they'd known he loves being handled.
Right? Well, I think they knew.
Do I have a mod that is available to get rid of a bot? Do I have a mod available? She's probably left for the day. Oh, well, I don't know how to do it from my ends. It's fine. Fine. But yeah, I'm really impressed. And you can tell that everyone involved had passion for it and they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They were knowledgeable. We have our old cast, save maybe two or three people total. It's just, I mean, that last episode, it feels like it was a million years ago, that last episode. I've watched it so many times. Just so good. The adversary, so terrifying. For those who don't know, in many Native American cultures, and in my family's, you know, culture, Osage and Navajo and everything else, I'm a Midwestern girl. I got a little bit of everything. Okay.
Right.
Just from everywhere. But the owls are not the good birds. You don't want to see an owl. An owl is a harbinger. They're a messenger of death, and
they've always freaked me out.
You should never look them in the eye. And they have the adversary as this great hulking owl demon that just, I couldn't even look, like, oh God, that's terrifying. Like her buried alive with that thing and its face twisting, and just, I was Like, oh, I can hear it. It sounds wonderful, but I can't look right now. It's going to give me nightmares. It was wonderful. And then the scene where she, gets her powers back, she realizes the power was in her all along.
Mm.
And she does that beautiful spin and turn and calls upon the winds, and she gets her classic costume. Like, oh, yes, queen. Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Beau DeMayo did confirm to a fan on Twix that when she defeated the adversary, she turned his skin and feathers into her costume.
Nice.
So she has defeated her inner demons, and she's used them, used that as a tool, as a benefit to her. So like, I'm going to kill you and wear your hide. So
that's not creepy at all. That's
No.
perfectly acceptable for children programming.
right? not the snarling, twisted, psychedelic, crazy face of the adversary. Like,
Right.
that was. I'm so glad I didn't watch that as a child, because I don't think I would have ever emotionally recovered from it. It was terrifying to me.
Yeah, I know. So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
When they announced that they were going to do X-Men 97,
Mm-hmm.
and it was going to be a continuation of the 90s beloved show, what was your initial thought?
Terror.
Right. So that leads me to my next question. Since they nailed X-Men 97 so perfectly, is there hope for them to even do it in the MCU? Because it's going to be compared to this. If they fail, they're going to be like, well, why'd you fail? Because you nailed this.
Which leads me to my next question, the question that's kind of scrolling along the bottom of the screen here. Will the success of X-Men 97 bring back Beau DeMayo? Do we think Disney, which has been suffering for years through no fault but their own, it was entirely them, they are known for tossing people aside, people that made them money and won them awards and gave them their lives. They've tossed them aside, ruined their lives, canceled them, which is an actual physical thing concerning Disney.
Yep.
Trust and believe. Do we think that with this giant win they have had, and this is a big win for Disney, this is a huge win. It's universally beloved, and that hasn't happened on Disney's watch in years. So do we...
Definitely not on a Disney Plus original.
No. I mean, maybe WandaVision, but not to this degree, especially not something that is basically a sequel. It's a reviving of a Gen X classic.
Right.
Do we think that they will possibly make an exception considering this giant win they've had and bring back Beau DeMayo?
Well, first, if they were to do that, they would have to tell us why he was fired, like legit, why he was fired, and whether or not then we would have the public conversation of, okay, was this bad enough to be fired for? Given what he has produced for us, as content consumers. But then, like we were talking before the show started, if they bring him back, Gina is just going to win her case, like hands down. And
a couple of other people.
Yeah. So I don't know. I need to know what he's guilty of before I'm okay. So
you
with
don't
that.
know?
I've heard rumors, but I haven't heard anything.
I've seen it.
Well, I mean, I've seen the pictures, but that OnlyFans account was established like before he even started working for Disney.
True, but when Disney has you sign a contract, there is a very specific morality clause.
Still?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I wasn't
Yes.
sure if it's still that case
Oh
that way or not.
yes. The mouse leaves nothing unturned. They're
Okay.
called the golden handcuffs for a very, very good reason.
Mhm.
So whether or not he had it before, during, or after his career with Disney is moot considering what was expected in his contract. And when you are, and then there's the question. I'm a very live and let live person.
Sure.
Okay.
Me
I'm
too.
borderline anarchist. Okay, I'm an anarchist. Um,
It just goes to our generation.
it does. We don't like being told what to do. We're feral children.
Yep.
I'm very live and let live. What you do on your time is your life, man. I whatever makes you happy, as long as you're not hurting anyone, hurting yourself, more power to you. However, he was the showrunner for a cartoon, and no matter how you slice it, children are going to watch this. And anytime you make a cartoon about superheroes from
Right.
Marvel and DC, let's be specific, because if you made a cartoon about the boys,
You're a bad parent if you let your child watch that.
thank you. No matter how you slice it, this show does have it is for kids.
Yeah.
In some degree, most of it. So you can't be the showrunner of a kids show and be doing free unrestricted porno for the world to see and expect not to have any comeuppance.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean,
so-
at least if you're going to do things like that, change your name, pick a stage name, wear a nice little domino mask, something.
Right.
If that's just your creative outlet, that's fine. I'm not here to judge you. But when it comes to common sense, that's not, come on, you've got to know that someone's probably going to have a problem with that.
But here's my question. So Disney is so pro, and I don't mean this in any negative way. Okay. Disney is so pro the LGBTQ community.
They're very welcoming.
Yes. And I would have to think that he would have to have done something worse than this, since he's part of that community, to be fired.
But here's the thing. Your sexuality has nothing to do with your morality.
At Disney, it does.
What he was doing, I don't think. And let me preface by saying the one thing I appreciate about the situation is that Disney is holding him to the same standards regarding behavior as they would any straight man, so on and so forth. So that's good. Everyone should be held to the same morality standards. You don't make special rules. It's all or none. That's any other way would be discrimination or favoritism, plain and simple. I don't believe it had anything to do with his sexuality whatsoever. I think it had everything to do with morality. I don't know a nicer way to say it. If he was doing stuff with straight people, like straight stuff, if he was straight and doing straight things, I think it would be the same issue.
Okay, but what about James Gunn?
What did James Gunn say? Like what?
He didn't say anything. He just posted like pictures for Halloween where he was dressed as a priest, and there was like some scantily clad woman, in the photo with him. And
that's
he was
not porn.
No, it's not. But the same morality
What
clause.
Beau was doing. Was he working for Disney?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I think.
And they brought him back. They brought him back after they fired him.
They did. You're absolutely right about that. I completely forgot they brought him back. I mean, I know that they did, but
Which is why
You know?
when DC's
But-
like, "Hey, you want to run our studio?" He's like, "Bet, I'm out."
Yeah, I'm doing it. But with Beau, it's way more than just a picture of someone being scantily
You're
clad.
right. You're right.
I cannot repeat on a live stream
Mm-hmm.
what exactly he was doing in these videos.
Oh, I know.
It was not just a picture of someone being scantily clad. This was
No.
full on porn.
Yeah.
So, and I think the biggest issue is that it was unrestricted.
Yeah,
It was
I agree
free
with
to the
you.
public.
I agree with you, which was very stupid on his part.
Very stupid. Like, let's use some common sense. Like,
Uh-huh.
again, I have invited him on the show, but he knows.
He knows what he did.
Yeah, he knows what he did. I would love to give him the opportunity to come and talk and tell us his side, get the whole story. That's something we don't get very often.
He's like
this world.
we find ourselves in a situation, a very rare situation, where he is a very, very talented individual who just happened to be working for Marvel and they let him go. So, I would love to hear things from his own lips.
Yes, because
He's not a hack.
no, he's not a hack. He's done a brilliant, amazing job. Thankfully, he completed season 2 before they gave him the boot, and he still loves the work he's done. He's very active on Twix with the fans. You can follow him at Beau DeMayo on Twitter, Twix, whatever. And he does talk to people. He does respond and give hints. And he's like, "Hey, I'm just getting started. Wait till you see this. Wait till you see that." He's very proud of his work. But he has been radio silent about his dismissal from Disney. He's not said a word about it. He's not referenced it. Nothing.
What do you want to bet that he winds up in charge of DC animation?
Oh, good God. I don't know if Gunn would give up the power.
Gunn is in charge of DC Studios, but like somebody under Gunn to run the animated. Because let's be real, like the animated movies, like over the past 5 years, have turned to crap. Like the DCAU, the original DCAU from the 90s was
so
amazing.
Good. Well, the Long Halloween part 1 and 2 was
that was good. That was
good. Apocalypse War, Justice League Dark Apocalypse War.
First one was good. The
Those
second
really,
one was I didn't care for the second one as
Flashpoint
much.
Paradox. Well, that was
But that you still had some of the OG voice actors in that. Like Kevin Conroy was in it for a hot second.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. But I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if he found his way over to DC. Another thing I want to mention about DeMayo, okay, is I've seen a lot, and I'm sure you've seen this on Twix too. People are like, okay, put him in charge of like be live action. Let him be the director of the new X-Men movie. And I'm like, guys, there's a huge difference between being a showrunner for a cartoon and a director for a live action movie. These people don't understand.
No. And again, we're seeing a lot of sorry, my boyfriend's phone is in here. I guess that's what he was trying to come in here to get. And his phone is ringing. In full disclosure, I took my leg off.
Why not?
But anywho, I was hot. Okay, silicone. A lot of people are calling for him to be brought back, and like all these petitions and all this stuff, and bring him back.
They can't see the hypocrisy.
They can't, and a lot of people have no idea what it is that he did. No idea. I don't know how y'all have missed this. I don't know how.
Have you been on the internet? I mean,
welcome to the internet. First day.
Right.
But a lot of people are wanting him back and calling for him to come back and saying, "Oh, Disney's going to bring him back." This is much bigger for Disney than one show or one movie. This is hundreds of millions of dollars that they stand to lose if they bring him back. If they bring back Beau DeMayo, they have to admit they're being hypocrites about Gina Carano, Brian Sipe, several other EPs.
Yeah.
And I mean, Victoria Alonso, that woman's a nightmare, but her name is still all over stuff. Her name is on the producer list for X-Men 97. Like, there's still stuff
Yes. Well,
going on that she produced.
I feel like she was the tip of the iceberg of these people. I mean, let's be real. People over this fake background stuff does not look great, does it?
This is me texting my child back, just letting everyone know, because she couldn't get dad, so now she's calling me. And let's see, Dave's phone is in my studio. I am live. What's up? Call your brother. Okay, there we go.
But so, like, over the past handful of years, like, the word toxic has been overused so much. But Victoria Alonso and the people like her are truly, truly toxic.
I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. That's someone who went mad with mediocre power. Just mad with it.
Would you put Kathleen Kennedy there too? Because I might.
Yes. Where's it at? Like,
and Jar Jar Abrams,
best friend of the channel.
Oh yeah,
best friend of the channel, Kathleen.
Actually, no, I don't think Jar Jar Abrams is toxic. Toxic. I just think he's
I think he's just kind of a doofus.
Yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of him, I'm so glad that nothing happened with his $500 million contract with Warner Brothers to do DC projects. I mean, he kept turning stuff in, and Warner Brothers was like, no. So, yeah. And you know what? I too wish that Batman the animated series had to pay off. But it kind of does if you look at the DCAU as a whole.
Yeah.
The final episode of Justice League Unlimited is the payoff for everything.
Oh, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited were so good. And it's funny because I am a big DC nerd. I'm a big comic book nerd, period. But when those shows came out, I was a mom. I had 3 kids, 2 to 3, depends on when they came out. But I had kids, and I was a mom, and so I didn't have time to sit and watch cartoons or whatever. But Cartoon Network comes on, and Justice League, you got to admit, theme song's a banger. Okay, it gets your attention.
Which one? I mean, the first one was awesome. And
Unlimited's the best.
Unlimited is the best. Absolutely.
The best. But I got into it because my little boys were watching it. I'm like, oh, I can watch this with them. And I'm like, oh my God, this show is amazing. Like, I discovered it through my kids. And then you had Teen Titans. Teen Titan was great. I'm not talking Teen Titans Go. I'm talking Teen Titans. God.
Go was trash.
Yeah, I have never watched that. My daughter has, but
I made the mistake of seeing Teen Titans Go to the movies.
My daughter saw that at the movies.
My cousin was like, hey, let's go see this movie. I know you like DC. I was like, okay. And I forgot that she was born in the 90s. So, I was like, oh,
whoops.
Yeah, this is something that you would like. I got you.
But no, those shows were really, really good. And we only got a couple seasons of Unlimited. I mean, my favorite episode of Unlimited is number 7, The Greatest Story Never Told, about Booster Gold.
Yes,
it is classic Booster Gold. Everything you need to know about Booster Gold is wrapped up with a neat little bow.
And he gets a girl episode. At the end.
He does, dude. He has a little robot sidekick named Skeets.
Skeets, yes.
How can you not love that? It writes up when they announced that Gunn was going to do a Booster Gold series. I was like, I'm psychic. Because I've been saying forever that a Booster Gold series practically writes itself. It's a no-brainer.
The only problem is, like, outside of people like you and I, nobody knows who he is.
I did a breakdown, so if anyone's interested.
Well, it's because you're awesome. But
well, bless you.
but you also are like heavily invested in Peacemaker too, and
Love Peacemaker.
I mean, hey, I am with
Watched
you.
that show like 6 times.
So have we actually decided like what is real and what is not real when it comes to season
No,
1?
Gunn doesn't even know.
Okay.
Gunn doesn't even know what's canon in his own canon. He just
Because we're gonna need to know.
he takes a poo and he just starts tweeting stuff. He's like Trump with Twitter. It doesn't help anybody. Stop doing that.
Actually now I want Trump to be in charge of DC Studios and be like, this is gonna be huge. We're gonna have the world's finest. This is gonna be huge.
It's gonna be the greatest superhero movie of all time.
I would love that.
I have a voice memo from my friend Emmett Kennedy over at the Final Furlong Pod over in Ireland. And he sent me a voice message because I said, the thing about Gunn and being like Trump with Twitter. He sent me a voice memo
Oh no.
of him doing Gunn like Trump. It was so funny, and I've meant to use it for like the last year, and I never have.
I feel like I need to hear that someday.
I know, I have it. I'll find it. I'll share it with the world because it's absolutely genius. He's actually the one who talked me into making my hashtag Make Marvel Great Again work. Merch. You can get a Make Marvel Great Again hat that looks like a MAGA hat, but it's Make Marvel Great Again.
I want that hat.
My Etsy store right here. It's finally available. You can also get it in a shirt, a beer koozie.
Nice.
We've got so many different designs. You can go to Etsy is where my stuff that Disney hates.
They've taken your stuff down a few times.
Many times. They nuked an entire merch store after I did my Acolyte show. I woke up the next morning. Like I talked about how there was abuse on the set. Rebecca Henderson was abusive to people. And I woke up the next day and my TeePublic store was just gone. Absolutely.
Can I share a photo with you?
Yes.
All right. I just want to share my where is it at? I think it's this. Yeah, this is it. I'm missing since we were talking about the DCAU, I'm just missing Green Lantern.
Jon Stewart's my dude. That's my favorite.
It's not showing up for some reason.
Oh, wait.
There it is. So yeah, I'm missing Jon Stewart, but I bought them all off of eBay.
That's awesome.
Those are the vintage figures. Like, and they were still on card back, and I was like, I don't care.
Nice. You had the Susan Eisenberg Wonder Woman. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I don't have that. That's like, I don't have any actual Justice League stuff.
You can find the entire thing on eBay for like you can get each figure.
Don't tell me that.
About $10.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah, I bought them twice.
My boyfriend will be very upset with you.
Well, from one DC fan to another, I had to show you.
And he got me Lord Vader back here. Let's see. Is it working? No. I don't know. You're supposed to be motion sensor. Whatever.
You're not a Jedi.
He supports my habit as much as he can, but then he complains when I buy stuff.
I hear you.
But
so let me ask you, what is if you had to pick just one issue, what is your like biggest complaint and worry about James Gunn spearheading the DCU?
His mouth. His mouth. He's got a Kathleen Kennedy problem. He runs his mouth and says, we're going to do this, and this. And then 6 months go by. He's like, oh, no, you misunderstood me. He gaslights us.
He does.
And says that, oh, no, you misunderstood me. I didn't say that. This is what I meant. And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
But what do you say to all the millennials that like the modern hip things like saying, let him cook. And it took me a long time to figure out what they're talking about. I'm like, what's he cooking? I'm hungry.
Dude, it took me forever. My daughter had to explain to me Riz and Gat. And I was like, stop making up. She told me look, I live in a Missouri's recreational. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
But I actually do imbibe for medicinal reasons because of
Sure.
my many issues.
I had
But
my
my
card.
daughter, my daughter came home and she's like, I can smell your za outside. And I was
Your
like,
za.
za? We didn't make pizza. Your brother made carbonara and bacon, sausage Alfredo. And she's like, no, mom, za is weed. And I was like, the hell it is. Za is pizza.
Maybe if you
Making
like
up
put it on your
words.
pizza instead of oregano.
What's up, Roman? Okay, so Roman of the Empire says our boy Gunn makes some odd choices, and yeah, Gaslight's like a month, but I'm hopeful, preparing for disappointment. I feel the same way.
But Roman, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but can we all at least agree for now? Like his casting for Superman, all the characters have been on point.
Yes, his casting is amazing. He's very good at casting. He's great. He's a great creative. He's a great filmmaker. He's a great writer. I like his work.
Did you speaking of the casting stuff, did you happen to look into whether or not that photo I sent you was the actual poster?
I haven't heard anything about it.
Okay.
I
Because
don't
if that
think-
is the costume, I'm excited.
The costume looks good from because he's taking inspiration from Kingdom Come, which if
is
you guys
stupid.
have not checked that out, the Alex Ross artwork alone is reason to pick that up. It's absolutely incredible. I love
But it's not even an S, Danny. It's not even an S. So
S.
it's the Kingdom Come Superman. His logo is not it's not an S.
I don't have my bits and pieces on. I can't. I'm in pieces. I require assembly right now to go grab things.
Hold on, I'll pull it up. I got
But
you.
I think his casting is good. I think his writing is good. I like humor in this stuff, just enough. I like the way he does these. I do have some concerns about the Superman movie because, I mean, he has virtually every other member of the Justice League in the Superman movie except Batman. And so my question is Superman going to get enough screen time in the Superman movie? You've got so many people, even Peacemaker's in it. Like,
is he really? I did not hear that.
Peacemaker was recently seen on set filming for Superman. So I'm a little concerned about that because he runs his mouth. He sat there and said that, you see, that's an S.
But it's not. Like it's not.
It's part of the. It's part of the.
If you'd have had that little
outline and everything, I see an S.
If you'd have had that little loop down here, Dan, you see where my mouse is? If you just had that little like loop of yellow, then I'd be like, okay. I love it though.
I love it.
And I've read Kingdom Come like 2 or 3 times in its entirety. It's an amazing story. But this is a suit. Like, if you start out with this suit, like, what do you do when you get to Kingdom Come? If you get to Kingdom Come, I mean, that logo changed for a reason. There was a legitimate, like, events happened to make him like, oh, I'm swapping the yellow for the black. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Gunn's logo has yellow.
It does. You're right. And I guess that he could, if they do get to the Kingdom Come movie 10 years down the road, they could just swap the black out or the yellow out with black. I like the suit. I just want to make sure it has trunks.
Yeah.
It's got to have trunks, Danny.
Wear your undies, Soups. Wear your undies.
I need the trunks and no collar.
I'm with Roman. Like, I like his movies. I'm good with the Kingdom Come inspo. I think it's a fantastic book. My only concern is, Zaslav and other people up at Warner Brothers, sticking their fingers in the Kool-Aid and making him change things. And I am a little worried about things going to his head. I'm worried about hubris a little bit.
It could have been worse, though, Danny. I'm going to show something else. Okay.
I too am wearing trunks.
Yeah.
Hey, you missed it, Roman. I made him very aware that, every time I touch my hair, you're supposed to take a drink. but I've already put my hair up, so you're going to remain sober. My friend.
It could have been very, very worse, Danny.
Oh my God. I know. I don't know whatever possessed them to think that Nick Cage was going to be the choice for Superman, because
Can I say though, that suit looks amazing. Maybe not Nicolas Cage.
It kind of looks like he's wearing a banana hammock.
I was gonna say, because like what's going on down there? I don't see the red on the sides, but I mean, like up in here, like the logo, everything, like the colors are popping. That's what I'm looking for when it comes to Superman.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I was glad to see him, make an appearance in the Flash. I know it was traumatic for you.
Okay. Here's the thing that messes me up about the Flash stuff. First of all, it was all creepy. That stuff at the end, that was creepy. And Nick Cage has made a couple comments about it. The first one, he said, "Good thing I didn't blink.
Right.
I would have missed it." 2, he said, that's not what I filmed on set. He filmed for that. He actually came in.
Really? I just assumed it
that.
was all CGI because that's what it looks like.
And that's what they ended up doing. And he was like, it was a nightmare.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But who's the guy who technically owns the rights to Superman? He got his giant spider. John, is it John Phillips, or it's John?
Yeah, I think that's his name.
He's a weird guy.
Super weird.
Yeah, but he got his giant spider fighting Superman. But I like 4% of the Flash. I liked all of the scenes with Keaton, and I will tell you,
where his lace front for his wig was showing. Like, come on.
But Danny, when he was fighting the Kryptonian, that's how Batman would fight a Kryptonian, even if he knew.
I don't even remember. Because that movie was so bad. It was so like
he was grappling on, like he was like crawling all over him, even though he knew at 7 years old that was gonna like be it for him.
It's gonna hurt tomorrow.
Oh, Keaton is just my Batman. I love.
Oh yeah, Keaton, absolutely.
And why can't we have a Batman Begins? No, Batman Beyond. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I feel like he's kind of campaigning for that. Like, he showed up to the Oscars with the ascot and everything for that bit.
It looked great
because he wanted to be, show the Bruce. Yeah, he wants to do Batman Beyond.
Mm-hmm. I think he had really fun playing Batman again.
Yeah,
he said as much.
Now he's at an. Pardon me. I mean, he did film for the movie no one will ever see, Batgirl.
Mm-hmm.
He's at a point now you can look back and appreciate those things. Appreciate that, and I don't think he ever did not appreciate being able to be Batman.
No.
But once you get past a certain point, it's nostalgia, and it's fun kind of reliving that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is for him. And so we need that Batman Beyond movie. That's the only way to go forward with Batman. We've had a bajillion million Batman movies, and they're all the same.
How many times do we need to see the death of the Waynes, or at least have it implied?
Yeah. I mean, how many times? We're doing the same story. The only way to keep doing Batman movies and keep it fresh and do something new is to do Batman Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to move on. Let's do Batman Beyond.
What I would do if I were James Gunn, I'd be like, all right, Michael Keaton is our Batman, but he's 72 years old. So everybody else came much later. So that's why everybody's so much younger than Bruce Wayne.
Let's Frank Miller this bitch.
Yeah. So, let's bring in Terry McGinnis. And so Bruce will be his eyes and ears, teach him everything he needs to know. And that Terry McGinnis will be the Batman of the DCU, because we've had so many Bruce Waynes.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. And Bruce Wayne has been there so often. We've seen so many different interpretations of Bruce Wayne, including the horrible interpretation of the Batman, which is a piece of hot trash. Sorry. I hate that movie with a passion.
I didn't hate it.
I want to find the negatives and light them on fire.
I will tell you that Bill Finger's granddaughter, you know, the actual creator of Batman, his granddaughter, she was like, it was too long.
It was.
It's like, Athena, what'd you think of the new? It was too long. Just so long. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
It was a mess. It was a mess. And I honestly don't think part 2 is going to come out. I don't think it's going to see the light of
it's
day.
gone. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
That's canceled. That's not happening because the gun has spoken.
Yeah. Why would he want a competing Batman movie?
He's already struggling to keep things straight. What's canon, what's not, what counts, what doesn't, as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, he's gonna trim the fat wherever he can, and then gaslight us all 6 months later.
Let's at least get through Gods and Monsters, the phase first.
Oh yeah.
You know, we need to get through that, and then maybe we can give James a little more room to explore. You know, because he wants to do like the Celestials. He wants to do the magical. Zatanna is coming.
Oh yeah.
And I want Zatanna to come. I want Constantine to come.
And I've been very vocal about how I feel DC does magic way better than Marvel.
Oh, 100.
Comics, movies, all across the board. Marvel always has to have some kind of crazy scientific explanation for all magic and everything. But DC leaves magic.
Yeah.
Dr.
Fate would have just snapped his finger and like Wanda would have disappeared.
Dr. Fate is the most overpowered character in virtually all comic books.
Yes.
And yet I could only get 24 views on that video last week.
It's a shame.
Oh yeah. But it's because people don't know that much about DC characters.
Mm-hmm. They want to dip in and dip out, basically.
It's Marvel because of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Because Marvel was better at making movies than DC was, but DC was better at animation. So now who knows? I feel like they're a little bit more on equal footing these days.
Yeah.
Because of how far down the MCU has gone.
Mm-hmm. So Fantastic Four has to be a home run. Superman has to be a home run.
Yes.
There's no ands, ifs, or buts.
Superman has to knock it out of the park, and Fantastic Four has to knock it out of the park. This next summer could make or break one of these studios.
Yeah. You're right.
But it's good news for us because that's breeding competition.
Yeah.
And competition breeds innovation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hopeful for that. I really, really am. Another person that's super hopeful right now is Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill has a baby on the way, and women across the world cried out in sorrow collectively. He's always kind of reminded me of my little brother, so I'm like, oh, that's nice for you.
Yeah. I mean, it was going to happen. It was going to happen eventually. So
right. So from what I've heard from a private source is that they don't know. Well, Henry knows what the baby is, but they're keeping that private. She's actually 6 months along. She's due in 3 months.
Is she Kryptonian?
Very soon. No.
That'd be awesome.
No. She's due in 3 months. She's been pregnant a while. They're concerned about his Akita, his dog Cal, who's an Akita, because they're very protective, jealous. They're very jealous animals.
And he's like deeply in love with that dog.
Yes. I mean, he's a dog person. When he lost his pup Meat, that really, really tore him into it. And I totally get it. I am a dog person. By the way, it is Tiny Tuesday. So here is your moment of zen.
Nice.
It is. My dog is an Imperial Shih Tzu, so I don't know what took me so long to make him Emperor Palpatine. Emperor Palpatine. Sorry,
Mm.
Emperor Palpatine. This is probably one of my favorites so far. And then, of course, he is an Ewok. So,
Oh, the
Ewok Adventures.
Ewoks.
Yay! So there we go. There's your moment of zen for Tiny Tuesday. But I get it. My dog is. He's not my dog. He's my baby. He's my
Your
child.
child.
He's my fifth child.
I have a
And-
basset hound. She's the same way.
Oh, no, Pop.
Yeah.
But so him and his girlfriend, they're not married, Natalie. They're like doing all this dog therapy and stuff to make sure that this dog is okay when they have the baby. And their relationship started out as kind of a plant. Like they were trying to make him look good for the studios.
Oh, like they used to do with like the gay
Yeah.
actors back in the 60s.
But they
Yeah.
actually fell in love.
Wow.
They really did.
So she was his
And-
beard,
Yes,
basically.
because he's a nerd. He's a big nerd, and that's why I love him. He's a big nerd who plays video games, and good for him.
Henry Cavill came here to Kansas City to Arrowhead Stadium like at least once when we were in the playoffs. It was like minus 20 degrees and Henry Cavill standing there on the sidelines just like, hey, what's up? I'm just representing Kansas City because, Superman.
He looks like a corn-fed Missouri boy too.
He does.
Yeah, that's why he reminds me of my brother.
Mhm.
But it's going to slow down production on his passion project, Warhammer,
Yeah.
because
I don't even know if that's going to happen or not, though, to be honest
I
with
think
you.
it is. From what I'm hearing, it is. It's still happening, but with the impending birth, and
Mhm.
he wants to be a hands-on dad. From what I'm hearing,
Good for
Like,
him. I
He-
respect that.
He's so excited to be a father, and he wants to be a father.
Mhm.
So it is going to slow down a few things like Warhammer, but for good reason. Like
Sure.
we can't be upset about that. Like let the man have a family life. For fuck's sake.
Yeah,
What's
especially
the
since
point,
this
lad?
man is one of the few that know and respect source material of the projects he wants to be in.
Yes. Oh, he was so mad on The Witcher. And they used to make fun of him. Could you imagine making fun of Henry Cavill? Like that man is 6'4" and 300 pounds.
That
Like-
dude would snap your neck and toss
You're
you out a
making
window.
fun of him, you nerdy little writer. Shush.
Didn't Beau DeMayo write for The Witcher 2?
I think he did.
Yeah, and he left.
Henry Cavill's gonna whoop him.
Oh, well, I think Beau left because it wasn't
Yeah,
up to his standards
wasn't
either.
conducive to a productive working environment.
Yeah.
But no, I have a lot of respect for Henry Cavill, and I wish him all the best in the whole wide world. I don't care if it slows down Warhammer. I don't know anything about Warhammer. I know it's a game that a lot of people enjoy, and that's the beginning and end of my knowledge
Me too.
of it. But I know he's super excited. Like when he builds his gaming computers, he Instagrams his gaming
know.
computers, and I'm like, God bless him. I love that. I just do. Have you seen Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare?
Not yet.
So good.
I want to see it.
So good. And I learned things I did not know because it is based on a true story. And apparently the character he plays is the real person that James Bond was based on.
That's right. I have
And
heard
I
that.
was like, this just feels like a big middle finger from Guy Ritchie and Henry Cavill that, hey, you didn't want to give me the role of James Bond. That's fine.
Mhm.
I'll play the actual dude.
I'm going to be
about
the
that?
inspiration. So what's up? Yeah.
Yeah, suck it.
I mean, I think I'm always going to be bitter to some extent that we didn't get to see him portray the Superman that I think we all know he could have been.
The one he wanted.
Yes.
And I feel really bad for him for what James Gunn did. Like telling him he's back. And then Henry goes and announces it all over. And he's so excited. He's so happy. And then the very next day he meets with Gunn. And Gunn's like, yeah, no.
I don't think that was James Gunn. I think that was because that was when like Hamada was exiting and Gunn was coming in. I think
So you
that
think
was
Hamada told him that he
I-
was back, and then
yeah. I would probably say that was a Hamada thing, because Black Adam was a Hamada movie, and yeah, it really sucked. But even that didn't put butts in seats to see Black Adam, you know. And you know what? In a perfect world, they would do like an alternate timeline and give us Kingdom Come with the DCEU
Phil,
characters.
yes, and Michael Keaton in the
Yes,
Exo.
yes,
Oh, that would be so cool. But I would want. Listen, hear me out. For Wonder Woman, Lucy Lawless. For Kingdom
yes.
Come, Wonder Woman, Lucy Lawless.
I am on the same page with you. Let's bring Xena into the mix.
I mean, she's basically Wonder Woman.
She is. And I mean, she's kept her fit, and I could believe that she could whoop the crap out of it. Superman to an extent.
I've had a cosplay idea that I sketched out when I was in Burbank a while back of if Xena, middle-aged Xena, had let herself go.
Ah,
Like, I've never built it, but I think about it often.
I loved Xena and Hercules back in the 90s. Those are my shows.
Oh yeah. That's how Carl Urban got his start. Lucy Lawless.
Yep.
I mean, there were so many people in those low budget, corny ass gems.
And they're all on Amazon now.
Oh yeah. I should do a Xena rewatch. I've been watching Babylon 5 and I'm like, I couldn't get into Babylon 5 in the 90s.
I couldn't either.
I'm not really doing it now.
And
And every time I see that Ambassador Londo, I just think Giorgio Tsoukalos.
Yeah. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
Yeah. Aliens.
Yeah.
And he was an alien. Like, I love that dude, because who does this to their hair and is like, you know what? I'm ready
good.
for national television.
I'm good.
Yeah.
You need to have like a one-on-one session with him, Danny, and be like, look, this is how you're messing with your hair.
Listen, I have been trying. I'm going to get Giorgio Tsoukalos on the show one day, and then I'm going to be like, hey, so I'm also a stylist. And sir, I have questions. I have questions and I have some advice. I want to see what happens.
Mhm.
But I know a lot of people love Babylon 5, Roman, and I'm trying. Like, when it first came out, I was 13 years old, and
Yeah.
I was into other things. And I'm like, oh, I don't want anything new. I want anything new from Gene Roddenberry. No. I was a crotchety old man at 13. So
I was probably more in line to watch 90210 than that at the time.
not me.
It's that theme song, man. Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, shh. Yeah. I didn't care about all the drama. Like, as a musician, I just love the theme song.
Well, I grew up in a musician family. My parents were musicians in bands and stuff, so I grew up playing music, singing,
As you can
stuff
see,
like that.
my
I don't know if you can
Stratocaster.
see. Here, let's see if I can reach it, because this chair is on wheels, but it's not wanting to move. And Roman is a Mr. Punk Rocker himself.
Nice.
This Dave got me for my birthday last year or year
What's
before
that? What brand is that? Is that a D?
Oh, this is a V. This is a Gibson.
That's an actual V. A
Yeah.
Gibson V. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't cheap.
No.
What, is it Epiphone or Gibson?
Because I'm so tiny.
Is it Epiphone or is it Gibson?
No, it's Gibson.
Wow.
No, this is a Gibson. It's a mini flying V
Mm.
in my favorite color.
Could you send that to me?
No.
I'm recording an album right now, so I could use another guitar. Just
Let's see if. Oh yeah, that's where it lives now.
yeah,
Check it out, Roman.
that's epic. I've always wanted a V. They're not very practical, but they're
He
freaking
holds-
awesome.
He holds my cane and my V now. But
Nice.
yeah, and I have an Ibanez. Isn't it Ibanez? Yeah, I have an Ibanez with a pickup that hangs up next to my bed. that was gifted to me by elderly clients that passed away. And I haven't been able to play it since they passed.
Oh, could like if you think about it one day, could you snap me a photo of that guitar? I'd love to see it. I'm a guitar freak. Oh, it's in there. Okay.
Well, no, it's in the other room. I'll take a picture of that and I'll send it to
Okay.
you. But
I'm a guitar snob. I'm a gearhead.
my favorite, I had Ovation Celebrity.
Oh my God.
That's how I learned to play guitar, was on my dad's Ovation Celebrity. And I had a red one.
Those things sounded like silk.
They made everyone sound amazing.
I
loved it.
But except for the back with it like being kind of bubbled out, that was my only issue. But I had in 1997, I had an PV Eddie Van Halen Wolfgang guitar.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's so cool.
It was my go-to guitar until I stepped on the neck and broke it. Yeah.
What?
I know.
Oh.
I know.
But with that note, I have to pee. That means it's time for us to go.
Aw.
But I've had a wonderful time. I've
Me
been
too.
absolutely wonderful, and I'm going to have you on the show again because
Please.
you're very easy to talk to.
Well, as you are to as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For everyone at home, make sure that you follow me on all the socials. If you just go to our website right here, comicsandcosmetics.squarespace.com, you get me coughing. Yay. You get all the links for all the social media platforms, all the content platforms, our merch stores, which we do have 2 now. We've got the Redbubble store, so redbubble.com, nerdy news merch, or the Etsy store, etsy.com/comics and cosmetics. We also have a Patreon where you can please help support the channel. Please. If you want to support the channel, please. You can join the Patreon. There are 3 different tiers starting as little as $3 a month, and you get free merch. Or you can scan the QR code in the bottom right-hand corner there, or just go to buymeacoffee.com, and you can tip me as little or as much as you like. You can even buy Tiny cheese. You can pay cheese tax to Tiny, and that's what I appreciate about you.
I'm sorry.
No, I was telling people to follow you.
I was just gonna say I posted the link to my band's music. It just didn't go through because I don't have the power of the mods.
Oh, let me see.
It's the reverbnation.com/.
So look up Haunting Heather.
The direct link is right underneath it.
Oh, I don't see it on mine. Can't post some comments at some destinations. Okay, I don't know what that means, Reach. But
yes,
make sure if you guys see that in the comments, and I will share it out when we are done. And of course, Comics and Cosmetics is part of the illustrious Red 5 network, where there is something for everyone, no matter what your nerd is. We look good in red, and so do you. So make sure you check out red5.bio.link for all your Red 5 podcasts.
I do like red stuff.
Right?
I mean, I'm sitting here next to my my Shazam hat, so. Yep. Let's go red for the end. There we go.
Red for the end. There you go. Hashtag Red 5 family.
That's right.
Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And nerds, make sure that you check under your beds tonight, because
Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are gonna get you.
Thank you.